Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so Penny Parker deep dive is out here. I will leave a link to the full deep dive video in the video description here, but let's talk about my first impressions and what do I think of Penny Parker from what we saw so far. What are my first impressions? And keep in mind, by no means this is nowhere close to the final verdict of the champion. This is just barely the beginning of getting familiar with her and what she can do. But I must say that if Kabam would be a mother spider, and that mother spider would have two spider children in form of Penny Parker and Spider-Man 2099, then it's quite clear which one is the favorite one. Spider-Man 2099 unfortunately doesn't seem too exciting, but Penny Parker does. Both offensively and defensively, she seems like she's going to be an absolute nightmare. And there's going to be a special thing that I want to talk about, how Kabam in Alliance War meta has effectively ruined slow with their defensive tactic, where slow is borderline meaningless. And seemingly they're now going after true strike, true damage, true accuracy, true sense effects, because Spider-Man takes 75% less damage from true strike and true damage, and Penny Parker just ignores all true strike, true accuracy things. So in Alliance War defense, if she fits the defensive node, anyways, it's gonna be another video in itself, but let's go over abilities. So immune to poison and incinerate effects, so double immunity, and coincidentally perfect for hazard shift, poison, and incinerate lane. But yeah, that is a rare combination of immunities, and I do like it. Poison immune and incinerate immune, very good, right? That will definitely be useful. Let's move on. So opponent suffer minus 100% true strike, true accuracy, true sense effect. Cool. And she has very easily accessible auto block, and that will definitely come into play. Unfortunately, it'll come into play mainly defensively when you're fighting against her, and I do kind of predict that she's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Right, when opponent fills a bar of power, gain +1 spider sense charges, up to 10 charges. Any additional charge lasts for 22 seconds. This is going to be her main damage ramp-up mechanic, where you gain these charges extra basically with level 1, and you can spend them with level 2 and deal a ton of incinerates and a ton of damage. And yeah, so let's move on. See, she has this sync shield, which whilst it has charges, you basically automatically auto-block all the hits that the opponent does, and you remove charges based on, like, obviously how many hits you take. So when Penny would be struck, +8% chance per spider sense charge. Consume 4 charges, purifying any stun debuffs and gaining 100% chance to auto-block for 2 seconds. This does not trigger parry, thank God, and cannot be prevented by ability accuracy. So Magneto cannot prevent this one as well. Very important to remember, and she can resist heavy attacks. So basically you want to build up, as soon as you get to your first level 1, basically, you will be able to auto-block everything. It could be useful offensively if you want to be super aggressive, but realistically this is going to be a defensive nightmare at the very least. Initially, it does look like that. Maybe we're going to find good counters. This information's been out only for a tiny amount of time, so I haven't had that chance to fully think of all the implications, but it sounds really nasty on defense. Also, when auto-blocking a hit, burn 25% of a bar of power and inflict direct damage, proportionate to amount lost. All personal power burn effects scale with base attack only. So she's going to deal you direct damage at you as you're trying to consume her charges. Keep in mind that she's immune to true strike and true accuracy. So that is a real nasty combination, and on defense she could potentially just wreck you by blocking the hits. Additionally, when blocking or auto-blocking a hit, Penny cannot be stunned and locks the opponent's power. When Penny would be struck by a heavy hit while auto-blocking, gain 100% chance to resist the block break. Also, while performing a well-timed block, gain 6% bar of power. Now that's quite neat and could potentially be quite neat offensively, where you can gain power just by parrying. Alright, let's move on. So level 1 inflicts power burn that drains 75% of bar power over X amount of seconds. That's neat, but it's especially neat in combination with her charge building mechanic, where you basically launch your special attack when opponent is just below a bar of power. You push him past the bar of power with your special attack, and then it power drains him tiny bit below, and then you push him back up again. It's kind of similar to Purgatory's mechanic, where it's just reverse, where Purgatory could consume her own power in order to be able to cross power thresholds quickly. She burns opponent's power, which is obviously infinitely better to make them cross the power threshold more frequently. On top of that, you gain extra charges by throwing your special attack, and if opponent crosses a power threshold during the special attack, you gain even more charges. Basically, with one special attack, you can gain like 10 charges or something like that, and that in a medium level fight is going to be your rotation. Level 1, level 2, done. In longer fights, you want to basically do that twice. 2 level 1s and then 1 level 2, and then you can deal huge burst damage. Her level 2 is definitely the damage special attack, and she looks like she has a ton of damage. So, yeah, and level 3 also inflicts power burn, by the way, and that power burns for a bar and a half. And what else it does, I forgot, but it wasn't that important. It's going to be basically level 1, level 2. Right. Signature ability. And signature ability is another defensive nightmare. When the opponent fills a bar of power or recovers more than 5% of max health at once, inflict heal block passive, preventing the opponent from healing for 6 seconds. Now, this is good offensively and defensively, because obviously you can't use any healing champion against her, because she's going to just automatically heal block you. And then on top of that, whenever the opponent heals while heal block deal 15% of health they would have gained as burst of incinerate damage. If Spell Master is active, the Master is removed. So yeah, that's auto block, heal block on command, as well as auto block. So that definitely will have a lot of offensive uses though as well. Like it will synergize extremely well with pretty much all of the tech cav nodes. It will work extremely well against life cycle and a whole bunch of different things. She does appear to have quite a lot of utility, and I'm actually genuinely excited for her. As a good example of her damage as a rank 4 6-star. Here, however, keep in mind it's rank 4 6-star, but you can replicate the results with a lower ranked Peni fairly close if you boost up, because I don't think there are any boosts active in this fight. So we can see that Old Man Logan here is at 48% of the health, and by the end of the special attack, he has lost 12% of the health. So 12% of the health with 1.5 million health pool would make it like 180,000, probably more than that. And that's not the end of it. So you do about 180,000 on your level 2, and then you inflict a 15,000 per tick incinerate, or 14,000 per tick incinerate. That also deals a ton of damage. So she will have access to plenty of damage. The question is obviously the ramp up and how realistic it's going to be, but it didn't seem too complicated. I think you legitimately just need to drop 2 level 1s and a level 2. So it looks like she has plenty of utility, and she definitely has also plenty of damage on that level 2. So she definitely looks like quite a solid addition to the game. And yeah, here is a good example how she absolutely emasculates Nick Fury, because she just destroyed Life Model Decoy. As soon as Nick Fury is trying to heal up, she activates her passive heal block, and then basically that cuts, leaves him at like 6% of the health. Right, that's just brutal. And that works on life cycle and a whole bunch of different nodes. Right, so the synergies, this one is kind of okay. She becomes stun immune, but again, she can trigger her auto block and be kind of stun immune anyway, so I don't think this one's going to be that important. For Falcon, lock on lasts 1 second longer. That's neat, that's kind of useful. And then for Airwalker, who cares? It's Airwalker. Right, let's move on. This synergy is actually busted, I think, because Spider-Gwen has always been a really, really good champion, but she had a bit of a slow start where you had to basically throw about 4 special ones to get ramped up. And now with this synergy, you start fully ramped up with your basically max damage output on Spider-Gwen. So I think this synergy will help Spider-Gwen immensely. I genuinely believe that. And with this synergy, Spider-Gwen can become much, 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 much more effective and used champion day to day. because Penny Parker seems like a good champion. She seems to have a completely different ability kit with immunities and tech class. And then you can tack in Spider-Gwen, and she starts ramp up. That sounds absolutely amazing for Spider-Gwen. And, you know, for Miles, who cares? It's Miles at the moment. And Spider-Ham are also good. You start with 4 Spider nonsense charges. But this is the craziest synergy. Penny Parker, while Sync Shield is active, Penny can trigger the parry mastery against non-contact attacks. That's nice, you know, neat, nothing too crazy. You can play around that for most part. Deadwill Hell's Kitchen, again, you're gonna get Righteous Wrath passive for 8 seconds. Cool. The Mysterio one. Chemical gas is not consumed when inflicting poison with heavy attack, and that means that you can spam your heavy attacks like crazy, because that is one of your main sources of damage. Now, this on paper seems insanely good. Really does for Mysterio, because that was always one of the biggest problems with Mysterio, because everything you did used chemical gas, and you always had to sacrifice your damage for your utility. But right now, effectively, you can just build up to 3 chemical gas charges, drop a heavy attack. If you need heal block opponent, you can still heal block for full duration, drop several heavy attacks, build up to level 3, consume your 3 charges, have massive attack increase, quickly rebuild them, keep dropping heavy attacks with even more damage. Sounds really, really, really good for Mysterio. And the synergy with Kang is kind of cool. She gets 30% attack rating, but reduce Sync Shield's max strength by 50%, which offensively shouldn't be a deal breaker at all. So this is just a good 30% attack increase. I think that is about it. Oh, there's one more with Mallman, Howard the Duck, and Venom the Duck, where you gain 900% attack rating and armor rating against XL champions. Unfortunately, it's only against XL champions. Otherwise, it would be really, really crazy good for Mallman, because where he has guaranteed crits, that would give him a really significant difference in damage output. But since it works only against XL champions, I don't think it's going to be overly used or practical. But, you know, Mallman is a good champion, so there is a relatively decent chance when you can make a team out of Spider-Gwen, Mallman, and Penny Parker, and then go and shred stuff, because you're going to have access to a ton of different utility there. Either way, that is it about Penny Parker. So, from what I have seen so far, she seems infinitely better than Spider-Man 2099. Seems to have more damage, way more utility, and she seems that she will be powerful defender, powerful attacker. I am excited. I think she's going to be amazing, and I will do what I have to get my access to her and rank her up, because I do think that there is a ton of potential. Now, again, keep in mind, this by no means is final verdict. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, and maybe there are plenty of pitfalls and things that I don't see. But so far, based on what I'm looking at, I want this champion. I want to rank up this champion, test this champion, and I think this champion will have place in every tier of the game. Maybe not the very, lower tiers of the game, because there will be fair bit of intricacy involved with managing opponents' power bars, pushing them just below or over and stuff like that. But I do think that we're gonna be discussing this champion quite a bit in future as a tricky boss fight, or as an Alliance War defender, or as an offensive option as well, with automatic passive heal block, passive which cannot be shrugged off, which activates automatically when opponents trigger big regen, which he has also access to auto block, ton of incinerates, immunities. Looks good. Power control. Looks very good. I like Penny Parker a lot from what I have seen so far. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I need to get ready for KT time. So I'll see you later. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about